June 15th, 2024 is the date. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Figure Four Podcast. My name is Doug. Donald and I are just finished watching the Clash at the Castle pay-per-view. Clash at the Castle, that is. What a fantastic pay-per-view. Unbelievable. Probably one of the better ones WWE has done in the last little while. We're going to go over the results, what we thought of the pay-per-view. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Let's get to it.
Like, I gotta say, this was actually a decent pay-per-view.
I told Adrian that too, and I'm going to go into it in a little bit more detail as to why, because I had some, I'm sitting there and I'm watching it and I'm making notes. But as I'm making notes, I'm just going to turn my mic a bit. As I'm making notes, at the same time, it's like, well, geez, they had to do this, blah, 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 blah. But I'll get into that. But it was actually one of the better pay-per-views that they've put on, as far as overseas, because last year's Clash at the Castle or whatever the hell they call it, was not good. It just wasn't a good pay-per-view. But okay, so you said you were working whenever it started, but you caught it. The first match, and they started right off the bat, was Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles for the WWE title.
Yeah,
that was, you know what? That was 100% better than what I was expecting. I did not expect what was there, just because Cody has been since he's won the title, he's been, and I'll say it, he's been a boring champion. 2 weeks after he won that belt, I wanted Roman back. I wanted Roman to come in, spear him, and take the belt back. But it's good to see the one thing, he's got an edge. I like seeing Cody with an edge. And what was super nice is to see color again, to see blood, which would never happen if Vince McMahon was still in charge. By the way, he's not allowed in WWE headquarters to use the gym that he designed for himself, fucking prick.
I saw that.
It was good to see Cody with a mean streak almost, he can be, it was like he can be punishing when he wants to be. And AJ was just AJ. AJ is always friggin' awesome. It was good to see Mama Rhodes there. That kind of made me laugh a little bit. She gave him. What did you think of the match itself?
Honestly, going into it, I'm like, okay, are we going to get Bret Hart versus Bob Backlund?
Yeah.
Again, 2.0. I was thinking an I Quit match, it's going to, I thought it was, I thought it was going to be a fight, which it delivered.
Oh man,
as far as I'm concerned, it delivered. I honestly didn't know what direction that they were going to go in with it. I thought there were some brutal shots in this match, coming on the end when Cody with that chair.
Yep, those chair shots were brutal, man. And even the kendo sticks, when you're Cody's handcuffed, and we know it's entertainment and stuff. Man, those guys, they're going to be okay this evening. Tomorrow, they're going to hurt. That was a hard physical match.
We were kind of texting during that after that match was over, and like I said, it almost had an ECW edge to it.
Somewhat, yeah. But that's exactly what I Quit match is supposed to be. Beat the guy enough where he says, I quit. And both of them delivered to the point where it could go they hit each other hard enough where you could legitimately say all right, I quit, but I love the way Cody made him quit. He handcuffed him to that rope. And then he scared him with the chair enough where, okay, fuck it, I quit. I loved that. That was a perfect ending. That was an absolutely perfect ending to that match.
The fact that Cody drilled him with the stairs anyway, after the match was over.
Yeah.
You talked about Cody having an edge. He's always kind of portrayed himself as a superhero. He doesn't. It's like Batman. Batman has that one rule. He doesn't kill.
Yeah.
Cody has that one rule. He's going to beat you clean. But it was like you said, it was nice to see Cody say, "Fuck this," I'm messing you up.
Yeah.
You know,
It
it was nice to see that edge, like you said.
it was different because every time he said, like, I watched SmackDown last night and I had PVR'd and I knew you were already in bed when I sent those messages. But that was just a horrible. I was like, if this SmackDown is any indication of what this pay-per-view is going to be tomorrow, it's going to
Yeah.
be absolute garbage. And man, was I friggin' wrong. And then so Cody wins. It was a bit bloody. It was brutal. It was for WWE standards, it was brutal.
Yep.
And then Solo comes out, the bloodline comes out. Of course, they got to do their thing. I'm so tired of Solo and this version of the bloodline. It's just I hope they rush Roman back because it's just awful. But
So I was gonna say, like, what was with Solo and the Bloodline coming out at the end of the match? It's like, so like Cody and the Bloodline, that's done. We're done with that.
yeah, well,
What like
we're
are they
done
gonna
with
push
Roman.
Solo?
We're done with
Are we gonna push
Roman.
Solo with
That's the way it looks. And I think whenever they came out and attacked, and then Owens and Orton came out, that's obviously going to be your main event for next week's SmackDown. It's going to be a triple threat, like a
so
six-man tag
stupid?
or whatever.
Stupid.
It doesn't make much sense because I don't know, like just hurry up and bring Roman back and get rid of Solo. And at least the Gremlin's not making any sounds anymore. They must not be feeding him or getting him wet after midnight. I don't fucking know. But I'm going to be like almost Meltzer. Every one of these matches I'm going to rate out of 5 stars. This one I gave 4.25.
Okay.
I think this is the best Cody match. I think it beats his WrestleMania match with Roman, myself personally.
I'd say.
This is the best match
Yeah.
I think I've ever seen him have because he proved he can be like, you got to give me, you got to make him mad. Like, give him that attitude. Don't just put him in the ring and like kiss babies and wink at teenage girls and sign autographs. Be a maniacal bastard. You know,
Yep.
and it worked for him. That was a wicked way to kick the pay-per-view off, I thought.
You know what? I'll be honest with you, and I don't want to spend like the entire show on this match, but I was actually surprised that this was the kickoff match.
Yeah, well,
I was a little surprised.
I figured that it would be like a women's tag team title match or the women's world heavyweight championship to kick it off. I
Yeah.
didn't think the men's the WWE title would kick it off because I figured in Scotland the world heavyweight championship would be the main event because of Drew McIntyre. I just figured
Oh
that.
yeah.
But never did I ever think that this would kick it off. What would now?
No.
Okay, so I rated it. What would you give it? Out of 5 stars,
I
what would you give it?
I would say a solid 4. I would say a solid 4. Um, the shots were brutal. Um, like you said, the kendo stick shots. I mean, AJ was swinging that thing like he was going for the fences, man.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. And I
I
like
I I
they fed one another. Like I didn't think for a pay-per-view match for the World's Heavyweight Championship again, like this match blew their last one out of the water. And
oh,
they
100%.
actually looked like they had chemistry together in this match. That's what I
Yep.
really liked about it. So you're a solid 4. I give her 4.25. We're
Yep.
pretty close there. What I really liked about it too was the build up, like from AJ, like faking the retirement just to get a Cody. They told a good story. They told the
Yep.
story in the ring, and it culminated to AJ getting his ass kicked.
Yep.
I mean, eventually, Cody took a pretty good ass. They both took a good ass whooping. It was just a great match and a great way to start the pay per view. Now, the next match was, or the next match on the card was Fire and Dawn. By the way, I love that redhead, that Dawn. Oh man, I remember her in NXT, and I was in love with her then too. Fire and Dawn, Baszler and Starks, and Belair and Cargill. Uh, for the World Tag Team Championship. This match, again, was way better than I thought it was going to be. Those women hit hard in this.
They did.
I mean, not hard, but it was stiff. Like, it looked really good. It was actually better than a couple of other matches on the card. They, of course, you knew they were going to show off Jade Cargill's power.
Yeah.
Of course. It was hard hitting. What I really wish would start happening more, and maybe they're building up to it, is Starks and Baszler really, really need to get a push.
They do.
They are too good a team, and they're both believable badasses to go and take those tag team titles. I was actually pretty shocked at the end of it. I thought it was a major upset. If anything, I thought the champs were going to retain, or it was going to be Baszler and Starks win those tag team titles. Never did I think the NXT girls were going to take those tag team belts. But I mean, it was good. And did you notice that? Did you see that whole match when Baszler had Cargill in almost like a sleeper? She tapped.
Yeah, I saw that.
She tapped out. And the referee didn't see it because he was behind or out of position or whatever. Now, I don't know if that was a mistake, or maybe they'll use it for some kind of drama Monday night or Friday night or whatever. Like, well, I made her tap. We should be the World Tag Team Champions right now, But overall, I thought the match was good. It was hard hitting. There were a couple of, as Dusty Rhodes would say, there was a couple of flubbers, baby. They missed a couple of spots there, but they recovered. They recovered really quick and just went back. It didn't phase them. And it was actually a really good match. That match I gave 3.25 stars, just because they worked hard, and a couple of spots that got messed up didn't phase them. They just came back. It was pretty hard hitting. And because of the little bit of controversy where Cargill looked like she kind of tapped out, I thought it was really, really good. But like I said, Baszler and Starks have to get a push. They're too good not to get a push.
It kind of seems like they're not stale. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like they're stagnant right now.
Yes, I agree.
Like they need to go in a direction with them. I wouldn't go as far as to say that they need to split them up.
No, not yet. No,
they work good as a tag.
Absolutely, they do.
They work really good as a tag. I thought I'm kind of in the same boat as you. This match was a lot better than what I was anticipating. I wasn't looking forward to this match. I watched it with the hopes that it was going to be a good match, and it was a different. I was like, okay, it's going to be a triple threat, like your typical, like what you would expect out of a triple threat. But the fact that they started off with
the triple threat was different this time too, because in the past, a triple threat was still just two competitors in the ring, and you could tag anyone you wanted to. Now they've got three competitors in there, and it makes it a little bit more interesting.
And you could only tag your team.
That's right.
You could only tag your teammate.
The Triple H era is already making everything so much better now that McMahon's 100%.
Gone. You touched on it already. I had this jotted down, but I thought some of the shots by Bianca and Jade, they looked stiff in the ring. It was almost like they were delivering receipts.
And they weren't receipts, but both teams were pretty, or all three teams were pretty stiff, which was nice. Nice for a change. Like, they gave better shots than the men do sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
But no, it was friggin'. Did you see the size, man? I don't know if it's because she's teamed with Jade Cargill, but man, Bianca Belair's getting some guns on her. She never had guns like that before. No. She's getting in shape, man. She is a beautiful woman, but man, she scares me. And that Jade Cargill, I'm just no. No. So what was that match?
I thought there was some good like actual wrestling in that match.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like, oh, someone's gonna jump off the top rope and someone's gonna do a Hurricane Rana and there's gonna be some high flying stuff. There was some good wrestling in that match,
Yeah.
I thought.
It wasn't the normal typical shit that you saw under the McMahon era.
Exactly.
It
Yep.
was like, I think Triple H is almost given all the talent kind of free reign. Like, you guys know what you can do. And
Yep.
I'm sure they've got like some high spots here and there and stuff. But I think Triple H, for the most part, is saying, you know what? Okay, well, we got our agents. You guys are the performers. Go out and do it.
Yep.
And it's nice for a change. What did you give it out of 5?
I would probably give that about 3.25.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
exactly
three
what
and a
I
half.
give it. Yep. I agree with you. Like I said,
I I
and the
I
only
will
reason
say
I did
I
was
was shocked with
because,
the end.
yeah, oh, completely. That was a huge upset. Huge
Yep.
friggin' upset because, like I said, I didn't expect the NXT girls to walk away with the tag team titles, but I guess there are 3 people from Scotland
Yep.
that were involved in title matches. So I guess you had to know someone was going to win the championship. But yeah, no, it was good. And like I said, I gave it 3.25 just because of the surprise, the NXT girls winning the titles. Not to call the match down, it was good. The misses, like I said, that they recovered quick, didn't phase them, and the tap out by Jade. That's gonna be some kind of crap go on now next TV. Like,
Yep.
we want our tag titles
I
now.
have a question for you.
Yes, shoot.
What happens between Bianca and Jade? Do they stay a tag or do you see them go in different directions?
No, I think for now they stay.
Yep.
They're Jesus. They're just too powerful. There's more. There's an old adage in wrestling where there's more money to be made when the faces are chasing the title
Right.
rather than the heels chasing the title. I think they can run this for a few months, maybe a few months down the road, they might split them up. But in the near future, no. There's too much money to be made there
Yeah.
just with them chasing those tag team titles. That's what I think. Um, Now we're gonna start getting into some bull crap. All right, so the next match was for the Intercontinental title, Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. All right, I'm going to start by saying everyone knows I am not a Sami Zayn fan. I was when he was in the Bloodline, but as
Yep.
an individual champion, I don't care for him. Chad Gable's just a goof that I've never liked. Overrated. The match was boring. It was a boring match for the Intercontinental Championship. The highlight for me of the whole match was Sammy hit like a half Nelson back suplex
Yes. Yep.
and Gable kind of like landed on his face. That was the highlight of the match, which is sad because I think they had about 20 minutes or a little over 20 minutes. It was fairly predictable that Sammy's not going because I don't know what I'm missing, but the fans love Sammy. And he's only a few months removed from winning the belt at WrestleMania. So they're not it was they're not going to take it off him. Otis when Gable went and he took out what's her name, Maxine, when he hit her leg when she was in that boot, and Otis looked at him like, I'm gonna hurt you now. That was kind of cool, but again, it's like the Intercontinental title itself and the whole match didn't mean anything. It's like they're building a story with Otis and Maxine leaving Chad Gable. That's what it seemed to me. Like the Intercontinental title was secondary. A quarter of the match, almost half the match was built around them not knowing what to do because they like Sammy, but they're with Chad Gable.
Right.
But the whole match itself, I thought was predictable. It was boring, and I gave it 2.5 stars. And the only reason I gave it 2.5 stars was because of the story that was being told with Otis and the girl. That's the only
Right.
reason I gave it 2.5 stars. I thought it was boring, personally.
So my first take on this match is that they need to retire this IC title because it's absolute garbage. I have hated this Intercontinental title ever since I first laid eyes on it. I remember you sent me a picture of it, and I'm like, "What in the blue hell is that?"
Yep. I believe
And
you
and you were
called it
like,
an abortion.
"Yes, yes, I did." Um, Chad Gable, I now refer to him as Chode.
I thought you were going to
Um,
say Chud.
Chode, Chud, tomato, tomato. Um, I will say this. The Scottish fans over there are absolutely fucking
Oh
wild.
my God, they're
When
nuts.
when Sammy came out, I don't know if you noticed the decibel meter on the Jumbotron. It hit 107.
That was higher than Drew.
Yeah,
That was higher than Drew. I was watching that too.
I will say this, man, the Scottish fans over there, anyone that if anyone listens to this show from Scotland, you guys are amazing.
You fucking
That
rock.
was that was amazing. Um the match itself, there were some decent wrestling moments. Um like you saw the odd like snap mare, you saw like a headlock, you know, takedown.
Is that going to
Um,
put butts in seats for a rematch though? Like,
no, we're done with the
I'm
storyline.
so glad. Like, bring,
This
I want them to bring Gunther back because Gunther's got to be deserving of a few rematches here. You know,
he
like
they're pegging him. I don't know what it's for, but they're pegging him for something bigger.
it's something big.
He's
It's
it's going to be
something
something
big.
bigger.
I don't see it being the WWE championship.
Not yet.
Not yet, but I can see him going after the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
If they try to put him, excuse me, they try to put him in something for the United States Championship,
Uh,
I would like don't waste your time. The guy has proven he's a main eventer and he's deserving to be a world champion.
he ran the mid card with that IC title. As much as I don't like Gunther, he he ran that mid card with that title. He was a working man's champion.
He was, and that's what the Intercontinental title used to be, was the worker's belt.
Yep.
And like I said, I never liked him either until year before's Royal Rumble. When he
Yeah.
was in there like forever, I'm like, okay, this guy's something. Then I started watching him and I started listening to him. It's like, okay, you want to kick him in the peas or like boot him in the head. But man, the fucking guy can go in the ring. Like he's like
Absolutely.
literal ring general. But we're kind of getting off topic with that. So with that Intercontinental title match, you were saying there were some wrestling moves, and then I kind of cut you off, and I said, "Well, that put butts in seats." What else did you like about the match?
Um, I mean, it was nice to see more traditional wrestling moves in the ring as opposed to, uh spinning 360 off the top rope
The
splash
half a
or
daiquiri twist. Yeah.
exactly. Um, I will say when Sammy went for the haluva kick at the end and he almost got Maxine,
I thought he was
and
going to tag her. I actually thought he was going to tag her.
I thought he's either going to hit her or Gable was going to win the match on that back suplex.
Yeah.
I thought Gable was going to win them. It got to the count of two. I'm like, holy shit, we're going to see an upset here. But
I'll give
I mean,
Gable this. The fucking guy gives that suplex. It's a thing of beauty. I'll give him
oh, it
that.
is.
It's a nice looking move. I'll give him that.
Is this the end of the Alpha Academy?
Yes. Give it another week or two tops. They're done. They're done. Uh,
One other question: where was Tozawa tonight?
uh, don't know. Maybe he found Liv Morgan's a hotel key card and went with her. But you know what? I could see Tozawa staying and
Just
Maxine
being a
and Otis
lackey.
take off and just hang out because what else is there? Like Otis was always over. Always
Yeah.
over. Maxine has those shiny plastic boobs. She's gonna get over. Tozawa is what does he do? That
He's got his dance.
he's got that Coca-Cola dance or whatever the fuck they call it. Like that's all he's
That
got.
little shuffle.
So
Yeah.
he's going to be like abused for a few more months by Chad Gable, I think. But okay, so I gave that 2.5 stars just because of the story. Like I said, it's like the story with Maxine and Otis outshined the Intercontinental title match itself. I gave it 2.5. What would you give it?
I would probably give it, and this is being generous, 2.5.
Okay.
In reality, maybe 2.25.
So we're on the same page. Okay, so the next match was Piper versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Let me just say this first. I am so sick and tired of that. Bayley, will you be my girl? They sang that the whole fucking match.
They did.
I can't stand it. It almost made me want to mute it. Or just like go grab a beer and have a dump until the match was over. But I suffered through it. So this is what I noticed about this match. Bayley seemed a bit soft with her offense. I mean, she didn't have a whole lot. Piper basically ran the match, but she was soft. Like with her punches, like anything she did. I thought the most entertaining part of this match was when Chelsea Green came back out in that Rey Mysterio mask. Like no one knew it was her. The match itself, like Piper's,
They called her Nacho Chelsea.
like that was the most entertaining part of this match. Like I'll give it to Piper. Her offense was really good. Like she laid it in, but like carefully and good and all that stuff. Bayley was way too damn soft in that match. The match itself, I actually thought Piper was going to win from being from Scotland. And I'm sorry, she showed me a lot and she should be champion. Bayley is too soft with her actions in the ring. I gave it 2 3/4 stars only because Piper worked her ass off.
Yeah.
Bayley did nothing for that match. She absolutely did nothing for that match. I thought it was boring. And thank God, I think Chelsea Green coming out with that mask, and I hate Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea coming out with that match, with that mask, actually helped save it.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I had a lot more hopes for this match.
Mm-hmm. So did I. Well, on Bayley's side, Piper worked her ass off. She did really well. Like she was hard hitting and all that stuff. Bayley did jack shit.
Yeah.
You know, like
I think I was more expecting like more wrestling maneuvers. And like I that kind of seems like a trend of mine for this show so far. Like I was looking for more in-ring action kind of thing. And maybe that's because maybe Bayley's style does not match Piper's. You know, she leans more on the power end of things.
She does, but Bayley didn't. And again, I kind of get it, but she didn't do anything. I understand they're trying to push like Piper being so much stronger because of her size to Bayley, but Bayley didn't do herself any favors throwing a punch. Even those headbutts, she threw like 30 headbutts. They were weak. Not like, I mean, Piper was like doing her part, but Bayley delivering them. It looked cheesy. It just wasn't good. Like she did nothing. Like there's a meme going around on the internet. Like I did my part. I did my part. I did my part. And then the fourth guy comes up. I did fuck all. That was Bailey. That was Bailey. I was not
Yeah.
impressed. And I can't believe now looking back on it, like I got my notes in front of me and I was jotting stuff down during the pay-per-view. I can't believe I gave that 2 3/4 stars. It should have been like
Yeah.
2 1/4, 2.5. And the only reason I went that high was just because Piper worked her ass off.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I had higher hopes for that match. I will say this, the way that Bailey delivers her elbow off the top rope, it reminds me an awful lot of Shawn Michaels. That's the only
I
thing that
caught that too.
really,
Yep. I caught that too. The only thing she missed was when Shawn Michaels would jump off the top rope with that elbow. It's like he did something and it was like almost like a dagger through your heart. Like he moved his arms
yeah,
or something. But yeah,
yeah,
I caught that too. That was the first thing I said. I think that was the most impactful thing she did all match was that elbow.
yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
impressed at all. And I don't want to spend much more time on that.
yeah.
Actually, I don't want to.
I
Oh, go
I
ahead.
would probably say you gave it what, 2 3/4?
I can't believe I gave it 2 3/4. Looking back at my notes now, I should have gave it 2 1/4 to 2.5. I'll give
I would
it.
say
I'll say
probably
2 1/4.
yeah, that's what I would probably go with. I was hoping for more. Overall, there was nothing great that happened in it.
No, there
Like you
wasn't.
said, Piper did work her ass off. Um, but yeah, end of the day, I had higher hopes for the match.
Completely. Okay, the main event was the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay, so you got Drew McIntyre and you got Damian Priest. Judgment Day is barred from ringside. Um, I had to write this down. This was the first thing as soon as Drew McIntyre came out. There was a kid there. Please sign, autograph my sign. Man, if I had to pay for Drew McIntyre's autograph, I'd be pissed because it looks like shit. He signed that kid's piece of cardboard, and I was like, what the fuck did he sign? It looked like a chicken scratch. Like it was horrible. But I mean, whatever. Like he was good enough, you know. He signed the kid's autograph. He signed his sign, his cardboard sign. But his autograph is shit. The crowd, man, they were. You were talking about the loudness meter or the decibel
Yep.
meter in the building wasn't as high, but it was up there. I saw it hit about 101 for Drew, maybe 102. But the crowd was ready for this fight. Uh, the match was, it was kind of like I don't know. It reminded me of like a Raw or just a regular Raw or SmackDown match
Yep.
until Damian Priest hit that Hurricane Rana.
Yep.
That was impressive. These dudes are like 6'6" to 6'10" or whatever, 260, 275 pounds respectively. That was goddamn impressive.
It
And
was.
then but like I said, the match itself was kind of meh. And then the referee goes down and CM Punk comes out. And I love the way they showed a referee, they showed the crowd, and they showed another referee run into the ring. And then after he's in the ring, they're behind him. And you can't see who the referee is until he goes 1, 2, and then he laughs at Drew.
Yeah.
2. And the look on Drew McIntyre's face was priceless. Like, this fucking guy, I can't fucking get rid of him, which was cool. I did not expect anything like CM Punk wise in this match.
Yeah.
I just thought it was going to be a straight up fight. And then when McIntyre grabbed him, pushed him in the corner, did you see that kick to the peas? That was stiff. Like that hurt. That
Punk
fucking
looked like he was
hurt.
trying out for the kicking position on the Bills.
Jesus Christ. He gave him a good shot. And it was a good way to end it. And then, of course, Priest retains the championship. But the match itself, up until that Hurricane Rana and then Punk came out, was kind of meh. It was a Raw or SmackDown quality match. But the crowd, I mean, the crowd was still into it, but because their hometown boy was involved in it. But the look on his face, and they said it, Drew McIntyre's gonna snap. Like he's gonna fucking lose it. And I can't wait to see what happens now, because he's gonna go to his house. He's gonna shit on his front step or on his wife's face or something, and he's gonna lose it. He's just gonna lose it. And I hope he does, because they need to bring like that Scottish psychopath back.
Yep.
And I think this is enough to put him over the edge, because they showed his face after it was over, and oh my God, McIntyre's going to lose it. I loved it. It was a perfect way to end the match. Owl. It was a perfect way to end the match. Yeah. It was like, do I hold it or do I just shit? You know, like he's going to lose. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what's going to happen now. And that, you know what? That match itself, now I got to go back and take a look. I gave 2 and 3. Again, I gave it 2 3/4 stars. It deserved that. But again, the only reason I gave it that higher rating was because of the way they ended it.
Right.
It's, you know, the match itself, like it was Raw or SmackDown. It was kind of blah. Hurricane Rana was cool. It wasn't super hard hitting. It was a couple of like slaps of the chest or whatever, but it was Raw or SmackDown. But yeah, Punk saved that. Punk saved the main event, I thought.
I think so. My initial thoughts was that going into this match, I wasn't expecting a wrestling match.
No,
it was power versus power.
Yes.
It was going to be a fight.
Yes.
It was going to be a fight.
And that's why they tried to make it a fight and stuff, but it was still kind of lackluster. Like it was, it just wasn't there. The impact wasn't there.
And I had this feeling that like where McIntyre or where Damian just won this at WrestleMania, they're not going to, even though it's in Scotland, they're not putting the belt on Drew.
See, I thought they might, because they did that to Miz years and years ago. It's like, okay, you're still pretty new. They put a title on him, and like a month and a half after, a few years ago, they did that with guys. They gave them a taste of the title, then they took it away like 2 months later. It's like, okay, you had it. Now go get over, work harder, and get it back. It was almost like a little incentive. But I mean, Drew, poor Drew, he's going to fucking freak. He is going to snap. Like, he's paid his dues he was done paying dues a long time ago.
Oh, and yeah.
CM Punk just keeps coming back. And I actually thought they were going to put the title on Drew. If we had did a prediction show, I would have said Drew takes the title. I would have. And I would have been wrong. And I probably would have kicked CM Punk in the peas. But that was a perfect way. That was a perfect way to end the show, I thought.
You know what? They're really playing this up between Drew and Punk. They are really playing that up.
And the two of them haven't even had a match yet. Like,
no, that's the thing.
Like a steel cage match is the be all end all for a feud. It's like we've had every other kind of match we possibly can. You always threw guys in a cage to end it. They're going to have to start this in a steel cage.
Did you see the post event presser?
No, I never watched it. No. As soon as it was over, I went outside and I started tanning.
So one of the press guys, they were like, can we see CM Punk and Drew in a Hell in a Cell? And Drew was just like, there's a reason that you're not a booker. He's like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
You think he's
He's like,
gonna
I'm not doing.
think he's
He's like,
gonna
I'm
do
not
that
doing.
willingly? Fuck.
He's like, I'm not doing a Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre. It's not. It's just not happening. And yeah, I don't know what direction that they go in with that.
Well, they're still trying to justify obviously what they're paying Punk,
Yeah,
and he's obviously not cleared to wrestle yet.
he was cleared to referee,
He was cleared
as
to
what he said in
referee,
the presser. He's like,
but
my arm feels amazing. I was cleared to referee.
he's such a fucking dick. I love it. But he's not medically cleared to get in the ring yet. And they're going to
Appar-
keep using this to drive McIntyre crazy. And when he finally gets Punk in the ring, it's just going to be a slaughter.
Apparently, now I don't know if this is storyline. I don't know if this is like real life. He is going to be skipping Raw on Monday. He's going back to Chicago to see his doctors. He's going to be medically cleared. And this is what he said in the post event thing. And he'll be delivering his status on SmackDown.
Really?
So
Oh, okay.
apparently that's what he said.
So,
So
so the main event itself, I gave it 2 3/4 because of the ending. Because I mean, it wasn't a horrible match by any means, but it was a Raw SmackDown type match.
yep.
Maybe I was a little stingy on my 2 3/4. Uh, but what would you give the match out of 5?
I uh, I would say 2.5, maybe 2 3/4.
Okay.
Um, I going into it, I knew we weren't going to see a wrestling match. It was going to be a fight.
Yep.
I thought they delivered for the most part. Um, I had a, I mean, I didn't even think that Punk would be involved in it
No, me
until I'm
neither.
like coming on the end of the match. I'm like, wait a minute, he's already been seen over there in Scotland. From what I saw on the internet, I'm like, what are the odds that he's actually going to show up and have some kind of involvement in this?
See, his
And
name didn't even cross my mind. I just figured he wasn't going to be there. Because they beefed up just, and they did a good job of it, just Priest and McIntyre for this championship. I just thought it was going to be a straight out match. Punk
yeah,
was a non-entity to me. And then when I realized it was him as the referee, I was like, "Oh my fuck. This is awesome." I actually almost forgot about him.
right. No, I for the main event, for that being the main event, I thought it was decent. Um, could they have done better? Maybe. Um, overall, I think the fact that like McIntyre he gets there and then there's something that just draws him back, and
Yeah.
that something has been CM Punk.
Yeah, and keeps
Like
going
it,
back to him. That's why I laughed at the end of it. They showed him, and I think it was Graves said, "Oh my God, McIntyre's gonna lose it." Like, I love Corey Graves. He's wicked. Like,
I said to Tara last night when we were watching SmackDown, I'm like, he was always like the Jerry Lawler to Jim Ross.
yeah, yeah,
Like he was always like the second guy. He's done an amazing job
he
with
does.
SmackDown.
He's done
As
really,
being the
really
main guy,
well.
he's done great.
Fantastic. And I'll say this before we wrap it up here, and I kind of touched on it before we actually got into the matches. The endings of a few matches were kind of like I said, like I gave it this because of the way it ended. And this
Yep.
saved this match. It almost seems like WWE is going back to storytelling now. So it's like, okay, the match might be lackluster, but the ending, the way that the match ended was better than the match itself because it's like the way they're leaving it leaves you wondering what's going to happen over the next few weeks or the next few months. It's like they're going back to storytelling like they did back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Or late 80s to early 90s before it just got silly with farmers and dentists and fucking
garbage men.
Yeah. Like that's the way it seemed to me. And you know what? If this is all Triple H, I hope he keeps doing what he's doing because it's working, and keep doing what you're doing, bro, because I do. As a wrestling fan, I miss storytelling. And that's going to do it, guys. Another show in the books. It's been a long time, but it was good to get it out there. Hope you guys enjoyed the pay-per-view, and we hope you enjoyed our show. We'll see you next time. Until then, my name is Doug. I'm out.